How excited are you for the start of another camp?
It's always exciting, and I think the new additions we know that Neil brought on board this summer are going to make a big difference for us. Steve and Chris Kaman. It's great to have Steve back. First of all, I've always loved him as a player, and exchanged a couple notes with him over the weekend, and so it's great to have him back. And I just think the size and skills that Chris has are really going to help make a difference with our second year.
What do you think the ceiling is for this team, Paul?
Well, I think obviously we want to hopefully progress over what we did last year, but I mean it's a long season. We'll see how it plays out, and I think we do have even more potential this year with the fact that the guys all know the system. We've had some success, and we're going to build on that.
How nice does it feel to kind of have all these guys back, the GM back, the coach back? It's been a while since there's been, this feels normal.
Well, I think continuity is important in sports. All sports, you're going to have some amount of change with new players coming in, but that continuity and with coaching and the system that you run, and I think now we're at the point of more making tweaks here and there to improve in different areas. So that's exciting to have that continuity and be able to progress.
You talk about the continuity.
Are you willing to keep that continuity together, and maybe Wesley and Rolo and guys like that to go into the luxury tax path?
Well, it's been a while. I think it's been a while since I've been in the luxury tax. David Stern used to give me an extremely hard time about being as deep in the luxury tax as we went at one point. It's not something I'm looking at this point, but look, we'll try to do what we can to be as competitive as we can in the future without causing ourselves a bunch of problems down the road by going way over the cap and then impacting our ability to sign free agents in the future, things like that. So it's a very delicate balancing act to try to create yourself a championship window and then keep developing young players too. And I think if you look at, for instance, what the Seahawks, what we did, winning the Super Bowl, that was with a very young team. So you have to blend the experience with young players and develop those as well. So, that's something Neil and his staff are very focused on.
Paul, it was reported this summer that you went to Los Angeles to present an extension to the Marcus Aldridge agent. Can you talk about why you did that?
I thought it was very important that we have a direct discussion with LA. It went great, and we presented him with a couple of options, and obviously he thinks the option of being unrestricted next season, and of course looking at a very long extension is the one he chose to pursue, and so we understand that, but we thought we should talk through all those things. It was just great to be able to sit down with LA and get a chance to really understand his thinking about the team, and he's very excited about the team. I think if you guys talked to him media day yesterday, I hope you got that sense too.
Do you believe the team is into that championship window or close to it, or what's your feeling on that?
Well, there's some great teams, as you know, in the West, and the Spurs. Everybody's going to look at how to try to find a way they can dethrone the Spurs. They're a very, very good team, superbly coached. So that's all of our challenges being in the Western Conference. So and there are other great teams. There are other great teams too. So it's going to be a real dogfight this year. So we just want to be in a position to really compete in the playoffs and hopefully go further.
Overall, is this as good as you felt about your franchise here with the Blazers in a while?
Well, I think if you look at our depth, the continuity, and the ability of the young players to get better, that's a key factor going into this year to see which of the young guys is going to continue to improve. And I think in the off season, I'm sure you guys are going to write a lot of articles about how each young guy has developed his game further. That's going to be another key. So all of those things come into play. So I think I think it's very good. I think it's very extremely exciting. We're looking forward to this year, and then you've got the veterans, Damian and LA and West. All those guys continue to develop their games too. So and they're all pumped. And there's a great vibe around the team, I think, with the continuity, with the success we had last year. And I think we still feel like we got more to prove.
Chris McGowan said you guys are on pace to turn a profit next year for the first time in recent memory. Is that a big deal to you? Is that important to you?
Well, we've had a bit of a hangover in terms of our finances from existing contracts that have been on the books, like Brandon Roy's. So when some of those things completely expire, that should help our profitability.
How are you feeling about the Seahawks so far this season?
It's great, but we're only 3 games into the season, so there's potential for us to keep improving there too. But I mean, if you look at some of the other teams that we have to compete with, everybody's when you're the defending champion, everybody's coming after you with everything they've got. So I think we've learned a little bit from the San Diego game, and we're going to see how that plays out. We've got a very, very tough schedule and playing some great teams.
Paul, how does your passion compare to when you first became the owner?
It was funny. I was just looking at the press guide. Certainly, I was excited when I first became the owner. I think now I'm just as excited. But I think we've got a great staff here, and I'm not quite as involved in the details of things as I used to be. Although I still love the draft. We're going to have a meeting after this practice and go over the plan for the season and the off, and even looking ahead to the off season after that, to try to see what things we're going to keep in mind. So I love it, and it's going to be an exciting year.
Now that you won a championship with Seattle, you won a championship with the Seahawks. I mean, how meaningful would it be to get one here?
It's that was an amazingly exciting and satisfying, unbelievable experience to win a championship. And it's rare just to get the opportunity to contend for a championship, and then to have such an amazingly dominant game in the Super Bowl. It was fantastic. And if I think back to that moment, I still keep pinching myself. And I'd love to bring a championship here to Portland.
Paul, what's the likelihood of bringing the NHL to Portland in the next 5 years?
It's something we